this is a convenience store in the United States of America. You don't get to see around it a lot. So you're not able to see any signs written in a foreign language or somebody pulling an ox cart so that you think it's in some foreign hole around the world. But this is the United States. You don't see much. But imagine walking up to a convenience store, and this is how the store has to conduct business because of the amount of violent crime that they have put up with. I'm sure they didn't build this convenience store. And many, many years ago when the building was put up, it had to look like this and had to operate like this. It takes a lot of guns being pointed in your face, a lot of fists being put into your nose and cheekbones, and a lot of your money being stolen before it gets to this point. And when you buy a house, when you're looking for a place to live, this is what you're paying for to not be around. When you have to pay higher taxes, when the cost of the property is more expensive, it is, and I don't care if you're the most bleeding heart liberal, more so because then you're more hypocritical and lying and dishonest. But these bullshit artists, liberals that talk about staying in the community and wanting to help, and all these people need is opportunity. They pay the high cost, the high price of not being in areas where these people are and where a convenience store needs to operate like a prison, like a dystopian landscape. Look at this.
Bruh, I gotta hand this nigga my phone through the window. So this nigga dead ass did.
You gotta give the guy your phone to use like Apple Pay.
That mean niggas be stealing out this
game.
That mean niggas.
Why you didn't let you come in?
No.
Yeah, they don't let them even come in. And by the way, don't think that this isn't happening everywhere. Like I said, for that level, that is a shit neighborhood, rife with crime, obviously. But I did a story the other day about Wendy's opening up new stores where you don't go inside. There is no dining room inside. Hi, this is Anthony Cumia.
Hello, I'm Gavin McInnes.
And together we're Compound Censored.
And we would like you to subscribe with this deal using this promo code right below me right now.
Do it, because it's very entertaining. You don't go up to the counter and make your order. It is all done either online, outside, and through a little drive-through type, walk-up type window. So it's not filthy, I guess. Doesn't have a beer bottle sitting there and a rusting wrought iron or rebar bars at the window. But it's the same reason. The reason behind it is the same. There are people in our society who do not want to operate as if they are in a society. And because of that, we all have to suffer. We all have to live like we are all criminals, like we all can't be trusted, because there's a certain amount of people that can't be trusted, that don't work within a society. And society itself is so petrified to address that, to say there is a segment, a percentage of our society that is so out of control that we have to put bars on the windows, that people aren't allowed to go inside convenience stores or fast food restaurants anymore, that we have to lock up essential items in pharmacies. All of these things are done because of a relatively small segment of society. And because of the fear of addressing that very problem with that segment of society, we all have to be treated like we are dishonest criminals. Does that seem right? Wouldn't it be easier to deal with the segment of society? Wouldn't it be more respectful to the people that don't steal, that are honest, that don't cause problems? Wouldn't it be more respectful for retail outlets to treat them like they deserve to be treated, instead of locking up the things and looking at everyone with the stink eye? You might be trying to steal from me. Meanwhile, they know they're not. They know the people that are stealing. But they have to say, no, we need to do this because everyone will potentially steal from us. Because the truth is fucking nuts. And no one wants to address it. No one wants to address it. This kind of fits in the same thing. Here's a resident of beautiful Harlem, New York, uptown. And King Charles from England came over to the United States, a little visit, and he made his way to New York. And I guess he was going to go visit Harlem because every foreign dignitary, diplomat, king has to go visit with the black people or they seem racist. So they set up security. They take him to like Mama's Soul Food Kitchen or something with the Apollo Theater. And then they look and point, and then they go, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. Count our blessings, count ourselves lucky, and let's get out of here. So he was going up to Harlem, and a resident, a woman with her kids, is pissed off at the security that they put up for King Charles. All right, let's watch.
To be very honest, I'm very frustrated with this visit because I feel it's a waste of our taxpayers' dollars, and whether it's international taxpayers' dollars or local taxpayers' dollars, we should not be paying the military or the police to barricade an area that our children should access and should be comfortable in this visit. We should be able to be happy and feel like this visit is benefiting all of us, not as if we're posed to be a threat to it. This is Harlem, New York, one of the most beautiful places in the entire city. I'm not happy with the stigma of the constituents being a threat to the visit. These barricades should not be here. To be very
You're right. They shouldn't. There shouldn't be a need for the police and the National Guard and barricades and cordoning off areas. What a wonderful world that would be, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? But there is crime, and there are people that mean to do other people harm. And Harlem, of all areas, if that guy was going to the wealthiest areas of Park Avenue, they would cordon off the area, put up barricades, and have police and security. She's taking it a little too personally. Like, oh, they're doing that because black people are up here, and they can't trust black people around King Charles. No, that's everywhere, you dunce. If you knew anything other than your own shitty Harlem surroundings, maybe you'd know that they do that no matter where this guy goes. There are people that want to kill him. That's just the way it is. Same with Trump. Same with Donald Trump. So, again, they just can't fathom why. Why is there this? Why is there that? Because some people don't know how to behave. Some people just don't know how to fucking behave. That's what it is, lady. Here's a black woman that, I don't know, I guess many people, including myself, agree with her. I agree with some of the stuff you're going to hear her say, because she's talking about segregation. Although she doesn't quite have it right. But hey, segregation, I got no issues. Let's listen to her for a few moments here.
Imagine if we were segregated.
Tarantula head.
Like, don't you think for black people, in traffic tickets, okay? Like, everything we do, they always come up with something negative. Imagine.
The traffic light and the cars that they invented. Just stop. And wouldn't it be great? She's talking about segregation and saying, wouldn't it be great if black people could be segregated and have their own courts, and the cops, the white cops wouldn't be pulling them over. They could get jobs. When they apply for jobs, they'd get them because there wouldn't be these racists saying, that sounds great. You know what it sounds like? South Africa. Why don't you get yourself a plane ticket, fly over to South Africa, and bask in the segregation for a while? See what it's like when people that look like you are running everything into the ground. See what that's like, that all the jobs are given to black people. Do you know in South Africa, black companies have to be allowed to be the first to bid on a job? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you have a power plant that needs to be refurbished, a black company will get the job. And they will bid a shitload of money. And then do you know what they do? They take some of that money and subcontract a white company to fix the shit because they don't know how to do it. They have to give the contracts to black companies. That is the new apartheid in South Africa. Blacks get all the benefits. Whites are treated like second-class citizens because they are the minority population in South Africa. Finally, after apartheid 1.0, the black majority got what they wanted: political control, economic control. And you can see after a few decades what that has done. It doesn't sound like the impression that this woman has of a segregated black population, because nothing works. The power goes out. Like I said, a black company has to be contracted to fix things, but they subcontract white companies because they're the only ones that could actually do the job. And that's your segregation. That's your black country with a failing, decaying infrastructure, failing school system. So if you think you're going to get better jobs, the unemployment rate is unbelievable in South Africa. But she thinks because, it's America? And again, do you want a certain area of America that's just black? Or do you want to be segregated where you are now? Like you live amongst white people, but in your town or city or state, you want that segregated. Because what is stopping you? What is stopping you from, we always hear, black businesses. We need to give money to black businesses to build them. And then you have to frequent and spend your money in black-owned businesses. For us, by us. We need to spend our black dollars on black businesses. And then the black business goes broke. Because, or the owner gets murdered because it's crime. They're committing crime. And black people don't want your shit. They want Nikes. They want Jordans. They want name brand stuff. They don't want some poor black son of a bitch running business thing. They want to go around in style. What's stopping you? We've seen a few of these instances where black people get together and go, we are building our own community. In Georgia, there was one. And then a couple of years go by and they get a drone shot and nothing's been done. Dollars have been invested. People have, dumb white liberal women, for the most part, invested money. Isn't this great? We could give them their own little place. They could show all of us stupid white people how amazing they are. This will be Wakanda within a year. And then the money disappears. No one knows where it went, and nothing is built, and no one really looks into it. So what this girl's talking about, we live in a country where that opportunity is wide open to see how amazing the black community can be, and the amazing things they can achieve, the innovations. Hell, they invented the car and the traffic light. I don't know what they stopped inventing for, but maybe restart your amazing innovating and inventing and little sarcasm on today's show. Thursday is usually full of a lot of sarcasm. Oh. Then we have the public school system of shit Congo. This is par for the course. What do we hear from politicians and school boards from any city around the country when they point out that young black people's scores, their reading, writing, and math scores are abysmal? What do we hear? That there's a two-tiered school system, one for whites and one for blacks, and the black one doesn't get the resources that the white school systems get? This is an outright lie. So much money has been pumped into black school systems around the country. The price per student in black communities is through the roof because it's all they have. They have to keep pumping money into it because if they don't think it's money, then they have to look elsewhere. And then we get into that horrifically awkward conversation we need to have again. Look, I don't know. All I'm saying is they inject so much money into these schools, and year after year, you see less and less proficiency in math and reading and writing. So is it the money or is it something else? I know they stopped disciplining black kids, actually all kids, because once again, everyone has to pay the price. I guess it works the other way around too. When they determined that too many young black students were being given detention or suspension, they had to stop giving out detention or suspension to everybody because the system has to be racist if there's an inordinate amount of black people getting detention than white kids. It can't possibly be that white kids are better behaved and are doing what they're supposed to be doing in school. Can't be that. And deal with that aspect of it. But why would we deal with that aspect? That's not happening. It must be a racist system. So you stop with any discipline. Now, they can act however they want. They could hit teachers. We've seen that. Hit each other. Run around the classroom while the teacher's trying to do their job. Yeah. And then when they're asked why is the proficiency level in these predominantly black schools so low, they go, well, we're just not getting the money. We need the resources that the white schools are getting. And they're getting more. So where is that money going? Where are these resources going? Well, it is the modern age. We are in the computer age. I don't know what these kids are doing with these confounded infernal machines, but computing is a very important aspect of school these days. And it takes money to buy computers, laptops, tablets. It takes money, but the money is there. The money is there, especially in a city like Chicago. And there you have it. Public schools in Chicago reveal that 77,505 electronic devices were stolen or lost, with 36 schools reporting every single device was missing during the 21 to 22 school year, worth an estimated $23 million. There's where your money is going. That's where your money for the poor kids that aren't getting the resources that the white schools are getting. You hand out these electronic devices and they are immediately sold, stolen, sold, destroyed, whatever, not being used in the way they are supposed to be used. 77,500 devices, $23 million flushed down the shitter. And I'm sure that money went to drugs and guns and switches and violence. And then when they're asked about it, they go, well, we need more money. These kids are underprivileged. That's why they're stealing the equipment we buy them with the money that we get for education. So we need more money for education to educate them to not steal the stuff we pay for with the money we get for education. Does that make sense? Of course it doesn't. It makes no sense. But it's happening. And it will continue to happen. Because God forbid anyone point out who is stealing 77,500 electronic devices, what they're doing with it. God forbid anyone asks that question. We need more money. Unbelievable. What about before they even get to school? What about the bus ride to school? What about the pleasant bus ride? I recall as a child leaving the house with your little lunch bag and going to the bus stop. And you'd get to have a little conference with your friends, your neighbor friends that lived around you that had the same bus stop. And occasionally you were almost late. You almost missed the bus. One of the worst things that could happen as a kid. Walking back to the house, opening that door. Mom, I missed the bus. Oh, you asshole. All right, give me a minute. And then mom has to drive you to school. So you wanted to make sure you didn't miss the bus. And then you're talking with your friends, and then you hear, here comes the bus. Hello. And then there was a smiling face of the bus driver greeting you. And you'd sit with your little group of friends, the rowdies in the back, the in the front, and a smorgasbord of kids in the middle. That was your bus ride to school. A lot of talking, having fun, showing your little seatmate, maybe a new little gadget, little toy you got, whatever. Well, in the schools where more money is needed, it's a little different. It's just a little different. Let's look at this little tyke and how he's interacting with the bus driver. he cracked him in the face. Can you imagine being that driver? The restraint it would take to not strangle that motherfucker. And he got popped. You heard the crack. He's like, fuck, that little fucker hit me. And then he gets up. And you could almost see the moment the gears are turning where he goes, what are you, crazy? You can't even lay a finger on this guy. You can't even defend yourself. You can't even push him backwards. Or you are done. Done as a driver, done in any job you want, done in your community, done on social media, probably done on the mainstream media. Done. So he knew, I can't touch this kid. And no one else will either. No one else will either. He'll just be able to do that, and he'll grow into a bigger piece of shit who will commit worse crimes. So that's going on. This is your school system. This whole thing is your inner city, predominantly black school system that begs and begs for money constantly. So if you enjoyed that clip,
Then subscribe to Compound Censored using this promo code.